money angle as the FIR comments or something else? Tonight, we bring you the story from Badaun.
Uttar Pradesh's Badaun is on edge. After a local barber identified as Sajid butchered two minor sons of his neighbor Vinod by slitting their throats with a knife, without any apparent provocation. 13-year-old Ayush and 7-year-old Ahan bled to death, while 11-year-old Piyush escaped with injuries.
अभी तो एक बाकी बचा है, मगर इंसाफ जब होगा कि हम उससे ये पता चले कि हमारी रंजिश क्या थी या किसने ये करवाया है काम। उसका अगर इंटरकाउंट हो जाएगा तो पता चल चलेगा क्या किया हमने।
छोटे वाले को पानी लेने भेज दिया, वो बड़ा वाला तब तक उसे कुछ कर दिया ऊपर, तो छोटे वाले ने देखा, वो घबरा गया तो उसको भी पकड़ के मार दिया उसने।
सबसे बड़े और सबसे छोटे की हत्या
कर दिया।
वाला भाग
सबसे छोटे करे टुकड़ा को।
According to the police FIR, Sajid and brother Javed landed at neighbor Vinod's house, seeking 5,000 rupees for childbirth of Sajid's wife. Sajid asked Sangeeta, the mother of the three kids, for tea. Sajid and Javed then allegedly took the two kids upstairs and attacked them with a knife. While Ayush and Ahan died on the spot after their throat was slit, Piyush escaped with injuries. Both the killers fled the spot after the children's mother spotted them with blood-soaked knife.
मैं अपने छोटे भाई की चीख सुन के जैसे ही ऊपर गया, उन्होंने वो किवाड़ बंद करे थे और मेरे भाई पड़े थे, बहुत खून निकल रहा था उनके। तभी मेरा मुंह पकड़ कर मुझे मारने की कोशिश करी, तभी उनके पैर में कांच लग गया था, कांच का टुकड़ा था, इसलिए उनके पैर में कांच लग गया, इसलिए मैं बच कर भाग आया, अपने अम्मा और मम्मी को बाहर कर बुला दिया।
You can clearly admit that they would have ran, those two innocents would have ran all around this terrace, which clearly depicts the moment. You can clearly see the marks of blood all around this terrace and the slippers in a way portioned out here in an uneven manner, which clearly depicts how brutally he killed them.
Cops later traced Sajid to a nearby forest where he was gunned down after attacking the police team in pursuit. Cops are probing what led to the horrific crime.
वो आरोपी जो था उसने जो है इन बच्चों की हत्या की थी और हत्या की थी, पुलिस पे उसने फायर किया, पुलिस ने अपने बचाव में उस पर जवाबी फायर किया है, जिसमें उसको गोली लगी और उसकी मृत्यु हो गई है।
वहाँ के रेंज के आईजी, जोन के एडीजी, वहाँ के डिविजनल कमिश्नर सभी लोग मौके पर हैं, सभी लोगों से वार्ता कर रहे हैं, वहाँ स्थिति पूरी तरीके से नियंत्रण में है।
The incident sparked violent protest as locals hit the streets. A political blame game also erupted.
ऐसी कई घटनाएं हैं जहां घटना होने के बाद सरकार ने कार्रवाई की, अधिकारियों को हटाना पड़ा। तो अपनी नाकामी को छिपा नहीं सकते इस तरीके से। ये एनकाउंटर से नाकामी नहीं छिपनी है।
जिस तरीके से उत्तर प्रदेश में कानून व्यवस्था, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को मजबूत करने का काम हमारी योगी सरकार ने किया है, ऐसा समाजवादी पार्टी के शासनकाल में कतई नहीं था। समाजवादी पार्टी को ये समझना चाहिए कि हर बात पर राजनीति करना ये कहीं से उचित नहीं है।
The devastated family, which lost two young sons to mindless act of savagery, is now seeking justice. With Samarth Srivastava in Badaun, Bureau Report, India Today.
And joining me now is Samarth Srivastava, joins me live from Badaun. Samarth, the FIR says it's a money dispute. Can you give us more details? What is the police saying to you?
Well, Rajdeep, there are many mysteries in this particular murder, double murder case. Because if you talk about the police angle, that clearly that is depicted in the FIR, which says it's a money-related dispute. While the family claims that there was nothing like that, like any of dispute, like money-related dispute, because his father, the father of innocence, clearly advised his wife to give away around 5,000 rupees that he's asking, and the wife was also ready to give away those 5,000 rupees. Later on, we got to know that Sajid entered inside the house, asked for a tea, and moved upstairs with those two children. Also, he asked one of the minors, to bring some water for him. And when one of the minors went down to drink the water, in the meantime, he butchered two kids to death. That's for something very massive came to light. And later on, when the third minor went up and saw the entire incident, Sajid tried to attack him as well. But fortunately, he saved his life and moved downstairs and informed his grandmother and his mother. Thereafter, they got access, they grabbed that particular sergeant inside one room and called the police. Later on, police came and took away the sergeant. But the bigger question is that police is claiming that they did a encounter after the cross-firing. The bigger question is, when UP police grabbed that accused sergeant, didn't they check the entire sergeant, whether he was carrying some gun or knife, anything like that? How a gun was recovered later on when he was taken away by the UP police in the medical. So this was a bigger question which needs to be answered. Though police is saying as I said, there are many theories, but it's yet to be known where the Javed is the second accomplice, which the family is claiming is on the run.
Okay, Samar Srivastav, for bringing us those details for this grisly murder. Thank you very much for joining us. We will make no speculation on this story. It's a sensitive story in which two young minors have died in tragic circumstances. At the moment, it is being said in the FIR it was a money dispute, and we want to leave it at that until the police itself comes up with more information. Let me turn from there to our top focus today. The Enforcement Directorate has become a force to reckon with in recent times, an agency which is being feared across the political spectrum. While the Aam Aadmi Party's Arvind Kejriwal today says that Mr. Kejriwal will only appear before the ED in the Liquorgate probe if he gets protection from arrest, in another case, the top court pulled up the central agency saying they were keeping accused in custody without trial. As elections of 2024 draw in, more and more opposition leaders are fearing they could be targeted by the ED. Is the ED being weaponized against the opposition, or is this simply the rule of law being followed? That's our top focus.
No relief to Arvind Kejriwal from Delhi High Court, which took up his petition challenging the summons by ED in Delhi excise policy case on Wednesday. During the hearing, the bench led by Justice Suresh Kumar Keth asked Kejriwal why he was not appearing before the ED. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, representing Arvind Kejriwal, responded that he is ready to appear for questioning, but he needs protection from arrest. Singhvi also cited how other Aam Aadmi Party leaders like Manish Sisodia, Sanjay Singh were arrested in the case. Additional Solicitor General S.V. Raju, appearing for the ED, opposed Kejriwal's plea. The court asked the ED to file a reply in 2 weeks and gave Kejriwal 1 week to file a rejoinder. While the arguments were going on, Kejriwal also sought protection from arrest in the case, but the court was silent on the request. Now, the matter will be heard again on April 22nd.
इन समन्स को चैलेंज करने के लिए, ये समन्स कानूनी है कि गैर कानूनी है, इस पे फैसला करने के लिए अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने हाई कोर्ट मूव किया। ईडी ने इस पिटीशन का बहुत विरोध किया। ईडी के पुरजोर विरोध के बाद भी हाई कोर्ट ने इस मैटर को सुनने का निर्णय लिया है। उन्होंने ईडी को नोटिस दिया है और ईडी को अब इस पूरे मामले में हाई कोर्ट में जवाब देना होगा।
एक अपराधी, एक भ्रष्टाचारी, इस आरोप में डूबा हुआ एक व्यक्ति उस स्वयं को खुद ही क्लीन चिट दे, क्या इस देश के संविधान में ऐसा संभव है? और उसी केस में आपके साथी जेल में हो, कोर्ट बेल नहीं दे रही हो, दूसरे राज्यों के लोग भी डिटेन हो रहे हों, तो उसमें आप कानून पर ही आरोप लगा दीजिए, संविधान पर ही आरोप लगा दीजिए, तो ये दिखाता है कि जो डर आपका है ना, वो आपकी गुनाह को सिद्ध कर देता है।
Interestingly, the Supreme Court made some scathing observations against the ED in another case. The bench compromising Justices Sanjeev Khanna, Dipankar Datta was hearing the bail application of Prem Prakash, an accused in a money laundering case linked to former Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren, who has already spent 18 months in the jail. Justice Sanjeev Khanna criticized the ED's practice of filing supplementary charge sheets and prolonging investigation in which the accused remains in the jail without trial. The judge observed that ED cannot say trial will not commence unless investigation is completed. The court pointed out that the accused has been in jail for more than 18 months. Meanwhile, in another case, TMC General Secretary Abhishek Banerjee got relief from the Supreme Court from the ED. Abhishek Banerjee won't be summoned by the ED in the coal scam case till July. Bureau Report, India Today.
So let's raise some of the big questions tonight. Are the agencies, especially the Enforcement Directorate, being weaponized now against the opposition at election time? Is Kejriwal going to be the next in the line for arrest? Are the probes being prolonged deliberately to deny bail to the accused? Is the skipping of summons routinely bad optics now for Kejriwal? Just some of the questions that we will raise. Joining me now are my special guests. First, let's introduce them. Yashovardhan Azad, former IPS officer, Priyanka Kakkar, AAP spokesperson, RP Singh, the BJP spokesperson, and Shama Mohammed, Congress spokesperson. Appreciate all of you joining us. Before I come to you, I just want to give you a sense of why we are raising this at a time like this, because in the last month ahead of the election, this is what we've seen. Hemant Soren, Jharkhand Mukti Morcha leader, chief minister, was arrested by the ED in an alleged land scam case last month, and the chief minister had to go. Manish Sisodia of the Aam Aadmi Party is still in jail. He was arrested, remember, in February last year, Deputy Chief Minister. He has been denied bail repeatedly. Sanjay Singh, another Aam Aadmi Party MP, has been arrested by the ED in a Delhi liquor policy case. He remains behind bars. Satyendra Singh, Aam Aadmi Party leader, arrested by ED in money laundering case. His bail was cancelled again yesterday. And K. Kavita of the Bharat Rashtra Samiti has also been arrested by the ED in the Delhi liquor policy case. You've got Anubrato Mandal of the TMC arrested in a cattle smuggling case by the ED. Partha Chatterjee, suspended leader of the TMC in a teacher recruitment scam. Jyoti Priya Malik, TMC, arrested by the ED in a PDS scam. Manik Bhattacharya, TMC, arrested by the ED in a primary teacher recruitment scam. Travel down south, Senthil Balaji, DMK, arrested by the ED in a cash for jobs case. So across the country, opposition leaders in the crosshairs of the Enforcement Directorate. Before I come to the politicians, Yashovardhan Azad, give me a sense of where you see this. Is this the weaponization of the ED, the fears that the Supreme Court has expressed today that you can't keep an accused indefinitely in custody pending trial, filing one supplementary charge sheet after the other? Or do you believe that the law is actually taking its course under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act?
Well, let me say at the very outset that the PMLA law is a very tough one. And that's why it's very, very difficult to get bail. But then one thing is right, as the Supreme Court also said, that if the trial takes inordinately wrong, then bail should be provided. So in that case, I don't know why Manish Sisodia is not being provided bail. And that's a question which is being asked again and again. As far as the weaponization is concerned, Rajdeep, we have to understand that prima facie, there are substantive cases where the ED has moved in. Now, Mr. Kejriwal's case has become a little convoluted. He has got about 9 summons. Technically, ideally, he should attend because the ED is not obliged to tell him whether he's going to be arrested or whether he's not going to be arrested. Supreme Court said the other day, normally they don't arrest in the first 2 days, so why don't you go? So that is neither here nor there. But one thing I agree, that when you're talking about weaponization, the very fact that the entire, cases are directed against the opposition, it's obvious that, their own people are not being targeted.
So You're raising two important points, Yashovardhan Azad. You're saying, A, the ED laws are very tough and harsh. There are questions over why bail is repeatedly being denied. Number two, you're raising the question of opposition leaders under the scanner, but also wondering why Arvind Kejriwal has been repeatedly dodging summons. Let's take that last part to you, Priyanka Kakkar. 8 summons now and counting. He's supposed to be go tomorrow before the ED. He says, I won't go until I'm given an assurance that I won't be arrested. Now the ED, as Yashovardhan Azad said, can't give such an assurance. It's the ED's, within the ED's powers.
Good evening to everyone. Rajdeep ji, you began the show and used a statement, is ED a force to reckon with? Absolutely not. It is a force which has under 0.4% conviction rate. That is the conviction rate. Then if you see, for example, Raghava Reddy, the ED said that he was the Hyderabad lobby actively involved in the liquor scam. And what happened? The ED did not oppose his bail and he is going to be a probable MP candidate from Andhra Pradesh of the BJP. Secondly, Sapna Gowli, for example, we all know 5 ED summons were issued, and when she joined the BJP, all ED investigations dropped. Same was the case with Ajit Pawar. Bhavna Gowli, I'm sorry, Bhavna Gowli. Same was the case with Ajit Pawar, where the police recently mentioned all cases closed. Now, I must also clear this.
No, but why does that stop? No, ma'am, why does that stop Mr. Kejriwal from appearing before the ED? My question is the fact that the ED is being used against opposition leaders. I'll ask RP Singh. But your question is very straight. What is stopping Mr. Kejriwal from appearing before the summons?
I'm coming to it. Today, when we went to the court, we have challenged the 9 summons and we have challenged several provisions of the PML Act. We have challenged the Money Laundering Act. Now, you see what kind of an investigation is ED leading. You mentioned this judgment that was passed by the Honorable Supreme Court of the bench of Justice Sanjeev Khanna and Justice Dipankar Datta today, where they came down heavily on the ED and deprecated the practice of keeping somebody behind bars for an indefinite period without the trial ongoing, without any bail. So they came down heavily on this, and all these petitions where the ED provisions are challenged, which revived Section 45 through a money bill route, are now coming up in June or July of this year before the Supreme Court. That is one point. Why we went to the Supreme Court is challenging the ED provisions and challenging the illegality of the summons, which the BJP was telling us itne time se ki agar summons illegal hai to court jao, hum chale gaye. Now in that, while the case was absolutely not about Mr. Arvind Kejriwal's appearance, the case was about the legality of PMLA, the legality or illegality of the
legality of PMLA, as you yourself, ma'am, the legality of PMLA, as you have been saying, has been challenged. It is there before the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will hear it. But purely from the optics, the perception, if you are summoned, if an average citizen is summoned, he cannot dodge summons time and again. There are no special privileges for politicians. What stops him? If he has nothing to hide, he should appear.
No.
Doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani.
Rajdeep ji, I am going a step further and saying, why not confront him through a video conference and then put it online for the people to see? You will know why the ED conviction rate is under 0.4%.
There is no such provision of a video conference,
That is absolutely incorrect. That is
nobody. Show me one case. Show me one case where someone has been interrogated through video conference by the ED. Please show me one case.
Rajdeep ji, nothing prevents the ED from doing it. There is no bar. There is no bar. If they have not done it, that is their problem. There is no bar.
Let me just take this to, and just as I am going to be harsh on you, I am going to be a little harsh on my friend RP Singh as well, because RP Singh...
That is all right.
Madam, you have not given me a clear answer to the question of why he is avoiding summons, but RP Singh, to you, the general perception is that ये जो opposition leader है उनको target करना है. 95% of the cases in the last 10 years have been against opposition leaders. I mean, generally, do you think the public is a fool out there? That they believe that the government, all these state governments of the BJP, there is no money laundering going on, given the wide ambit of the PMLA? Only in the opposition ruled states is the ED hyperactive. Naturally, then opposition leaders like Mr. Kejriwal feel they are being targeted.
Well, one thing has come out very clear, Rajdeep, today that it is not दूध का दूध पानी का पानी, it's शराब का शराब पानी का पानी. I mean, that's what is clear because Mr. Kejriwal till date has been saying that he has to go for Vipassana, he has to go for Diwali, he has to go for Madhya Pradesh election, he has to go for some other election. Now the parliamentary election. No, it is not all that. It is only the scare of being arrested. I mean, it does come out clear. And then he has mentioned in his appeal also that, in his request also, that he should be given a safe route, that he will not be arrested. That's one thing is very clear.
Absolutely
so it's sharab ka sharab, pani ka pani.
Madam, please do not intervene.
Please, did I?
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Singh.
Secondly, Rajdeep, there is 1 lakh crore which has been confiscated by the ED in all these cases, and it's not only the politicians, it's the corporates also which are there where the cases are being followed. The corporates also who are involved into it. Thirdly,
No, but why is it that BJP ruled states the ED is sir? Why is it that in BJP ruled states the ED is dormant? I mean, you cannot have two laws in this country,
Sir.
one for opposition ruled states and leaders, one for BJP ruled states and leaders.
Sir, thank you, Mr. Rajdeep. Mr. Kejriwal came with a message of that he is a crusader against corruption. किसी के खिलाफ कोई शंका भी हो तो उसको अरेस्ट कर लेना चाहिए, उसको रिजाइन कर देना चाहिए, and then he should be arrested immediately. I mean, that's what he started with. And then this Abhishek Manu Singhvi ji is contesting the case. Why doesn't Mr. Kejriwal hire Abhishek Manu Singhvi other than him for himself for other cases to pursue in the court?
No, you're not answering my question. RP Singh भाई ना इधर की बात सर RP Singh ना इधर की बात करे ना उधर की बात. मैंने आपको सवाल पूछा. Why is it that in BJP ruled states the enforcement directorate is dormant? Or that as in Maharashtra, all the leaders who have switched over, their cases have gone into cold storage. I'll give you the full list. Bhavna Gavli, Pratap Sarnai, now Ravindra Vaikar, all their cases into cold storage.
Has the cases been closed? No. Has the cases been shut? No.
Sir.
And I'm requesting again, let the Mr. Kejriwal, can I complete? Rajdeep, allow me to complete, please.
Okay.
I'll appreciate Mr. Kejriwal, or even for that regard, you can hire Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi. I'll pay the fee. If Mr. Kejriwal doesn't want to pursue the cases against crusade against the corruption, I'll pay the fee. If he can win the cases, the fees is on my head. Otherwise, he should pay double the fee to me.
Sorry, sir, you're not answering my question. You're not answering my question. To say that the cases have not been closed.
I'm answering the question, sir. None of the cases are...
That's not good enough for me. You're sending repeated summons
any-
to opposition leaders
That
and no summons to the BJP leaders. Why don't you send summons to the leaders who have switched over in Maharashtra?
No. Let me tell you. You just spoke about Soren Saab. I mean, Mr. Shibu Soren.
Yes.
Sorry, Hemant Soren.
Yes.
But the case against him was filed by the local police in the land scam. It was the local authorities which filed the case, and then the ED came in the case. It was not that ED filed the case initially. So there have been cases which have been filed by the local agencies or the local administration. Even in Mr. Kejriwal's case, it was a Congress party. They claimed themselves. Anil Chaudhary claimed that he was the one who filed the FIR against Mr. Kejriwal, and that's how the complete case came in forward.
Sir,
So,
I'm afraid
Sir,
you
can
are...
I complete,
No, sir. You are not answering my central question, and therefore I must move on. You are not answering why there are different rules in this country in BJP ruled states and opposition ruled
There are
states.
no different rules.
There
There are
are
no
different
different
rules.
closing set.
I'm giving you the many examples, just as Mr. Kejriwal has to answer why he's avoiding
tell me
summons.
any case which has been shut.
Sorry? That's not good enough. You're not summoning them anymore.
Any
The cases
case
have
has
gone
been
into
closed
cold
and shut.
storage.
No.
Ajit Pawar's case, the economic
No.
offences wing says we have no more. We want the case closed.
I give you a challenge. I give you a challenge, Rajdeep. I give you a challenge now on Ajit Pawar. Okay, now you're saying about. I give you a challenge on Ajit Pawar. Please hire the best lawyer. I'm committing on your channel that I'll pay the complete fees. Please go against Ajit Pawar if there's a case.
Okay,
Fact
let
is, there
me
is no
let
case
me
now.
take that. Okay, that's a point I want to take to you, Shama Mohammed. What RP Singh is saying, that if all these people are so innocent, or those who've got away are innocent, then go against an Ajit Pawar. Take get the best lawyers and go after the BJP leaders who are allegedly involved in these scams. Now, that is the argument the government keeps making. The Prime Minister, no less, even at the India Today conclave, said that, look, look at the number of inquiries that are taking place, the assets that we have seized. Look at the ED's performance. He's praising the ED.
Okay, so let me get you that. He says go to court. Court will take time. By the time the Lok Sabha elections will be over, number one. Number two, ED and the CBI is not with us. Let RPS say I did not interrupt. Please let me finish. 2004 to 14.
I never interrupted. I never uttered a word.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, go ahead, Shama Mohammed.
We had ED investigating around 26 leaders at that point of time. Of that, 6 were from the Congress party, 3 from the BJP. As you remember, during our time, any minister had corruption allegation, he was asked to step down and there was a CBI probe. Rajdeep, you know that very well. Now, what we see, I'm just going to digress to the CBI. The Bombay High Court, what did it say in the Chanda Kochar case? It said very clearly the arrest was illegal and it was abuse of power. Exactly what today the Supreme Court said on the ED. So these are not the words of the Congress party. Now, even in the Hemant Soren case, he did not appear for their questioning in Delhi. What did they do? They put out a poster saying 11,000 rupees reward. Hemant Soren is absconding. Now, I don't see that alacrity on Ajit Pawar, Himanta Biswa Sarma, Suvindu Adhikari, Narayan Rane. He said, whose case is closed? Pratap Sarnaik's case in 2022 was opened in May. In 2022, September, after he joined Shiv Sena Shinde faction, the Economics Offence Wing said, there is nothing. Please close the case. And the ED has closed the case. If you don't know RP Singh, please go and check.
No, the ED has not closed the case. Let me give you a fact check. The Economic Offence Wing has recommended that the case be closed. But I want to ask you this, ma'am. No, I want to ask you this. Last year in September, all the opposition parties, 14 of them, went to the court and said, look, please give us some protection because the PMLA is being used by the ED to target opposition leaders. The court said, we can't give any special privileges to politicians. You come with individual cases, prove that the case has been wrongly put, and we'll act. That's the law.
So there's an issue on that, Rajdeep. For example, during the Chhattisgarh election, they came against the former Chhattisgarh Chief Minister, Bhupesh Baghel, saying a gaming app issue. All right. There's an investigation opened immediately because the election was on. Then once the election is over, we don't hear anything about it. So it's a pattern. Now what we see is RJD. The whole family was questioned. And at the time when the case, the land for jobs scam, according to them, happened, it was 2004 to 2006 to 9. And that time Tejasvi was a teenager. His name is there. His siblings' name are there. So what does it show? Rohit Pawar, for example, in Maharashtra, he got a sugar mill worth 54 crore from the state government and others bought it for 25 crore. They have attached Rohit Pawar's. So this is the question we ask. The pattern is, it's an ecosystem. There's a pattern. When elections come in, you go after opposition members. So the case prolongs. People are, there's a show with the media that these politicians are corrupt. You should not vote for. And that is what is happening.
Okay, I take your point, ma'am. I take your point. Let me come to you, therefore, Yashovardhan Azad. You see, the sense I'm getting, and this has been a debate we've had for months now, that we have a 12th man, if I may call it that, in Indian politics at the moment, squarely batting for one side and batting with huge powers, and that's the ED. Surely the IPS officers or the IRS officers involved, who do they take their orders from? The PMO, the Finance Ministry, the Home Ministry? Let's be honest now, you're a retired officer.
No, even when I was not retired, I was pretty candid about these things. Let me say one thing, Rajdeep, that the taint is on both sides. There is, just because the government is targeting the opposition, and I agree with it, you cannot say that you should not institute cases or you cannot investigate. That is a different issue, that they are not targeting their own. Now, how do we solve that? Unless the court takes it suo moto or something, or there are, officers of spine, as you were talking about. Yes, you're right. Unless you give the autonomy, the requisite autonomy to the ED or the CBI, this thing will continue. Let me ask you another thing. Why doesn't the opposition go to the court and talk about the autonomy to be given to these institutions? Why doesn't the opposition go and raise the issue before the Supreme Court about the police reforms and fixity of tenure? Why doesn't the opposition talk about what is happening in most of the states where you're having acting DGP, which is in direct contravention with the law laid down by the Supreme Court, given in listed in the police reforms. So you see, we don't talk about basic. And last thing, Rajdeep, it is very well known that the grease of politics run today is the basis is corruption. If you see the electric bond scheme, where the entire scheme has been, rendered unconstitutional, how are you running the elections? You should stop it. You should have
That's another debate for another day. The fact at the moment is, my focus has been on the Enforcement Directorate and the way they pick and choose cases. The selectivity is the problem at one hand. On the other hand, the optics of politicians not willing to even appear before the ED despite repeated summons also sends out the wrong message. So both sides have much to be questioned about, but for now the ED clearly has become a 12th man in the elections of 2024, and that's not good for democracy, because then it's not a level playing field. For a level playing field, an enforcement agency cannot be weaponized and used only against one side. That's effectively, in a way, what the courts are also saying when they today rebuke the ED for the manner in which detentions are taking place. I appreciate, though, all my guests joining me here on the news today. I must move on because I have another topic to discuss tonight, and it's an interesting one, rather different. Online food delivery giant Zomato found itself in the midst of a controversy with a new pure vegetarian mode feature that they brought, where riders were to don green uniforms to deliver pure vegetarian food. After the announcement faced a backlash, the Zomato has been forced to roll back the green uniforms. But still the rule remains that there will be separate segregated counters for vegetarian food and for non-vegetarian food. Are we promoting a food divide in this country? Take a look.
सर ऑर्डर लेके आया था
बॉयज हॉस्टल 3rd फ्लोर कमरा नंबर 302
सर आपका ऑर्डर
India's premier internet stock, the food delivery juggernaut Zomato stirs the pot of online discourse yet again. When Zomato's founder and CEO Dipinder Goyal unveiled a specialized fleet adorned in green exclusively for vegetarian orders. The move sparked cries of exclusivity. Reacting swiftly on social media, Congress MP Karthi Chidambaram slammed Zomato as prejudiced. The company's proclamation that no non-vegetarian meal, even if served by a non-vegetarian restaurant, would ever be placed in the green delivery box, triggered a wave of mockery and sharp criticism. One user pondered how long before Zomato sorts its couriers based on their dietary preferences. Another user ridiculed the concept as nonsensical, predicting that dress color coding will empower housing societies to veto non-vegetarian deliveries. A hazardous gambit for delivery personnel countered this commentator. But what about the origins of this food? A strictly vegetarian farmer, a vegetarian truck driver hauling it, and vegetarian workers handling it, queried another skeptic. The company head, however, insisted that the move isn't aimed at catering or ostracizing any religious or political faction. But after facing massive backlash, food delivery giant rolled back green fleet for pure vegetarian. Zomato said its pure veg mode will continue with its delivery fleet in regular red uniform. Despite praise from many netizens hailing the initiative as a savvy business move, the online deliberation resurrected memories of prior Zomato controversies. Last year, the company faced backlash over its recycling campaign, following its portrayal of a Dalit character from the movie Lagan.
Sir.
In September, Zomato drew ire on social media due to a post featuring banana chips, with a caption linking the Gurgaon police alleging drugs were smuggled to its office. The company issued an apology and deleted the post. Bureau Report, India Today.
So does Zomato's pure veg fleet stroke a food divide? Is this marketing gimmicks or is it customer friendly? Is this the way to woo more customers? Joining me now is Sanjeev Kapoor, celebrity chef. Amish Dal Sabarwal is a brand consultant, and Rupali Deen, food critic and columnist, joins us. Appreciate your joining us. Sanjeev, let me come to you first. There's much talk after this that we have a food divide in this country. This whole idea of sattvic food, of pure vegetarian, and don't mix it in any way with anyone who might be taking a non-veg order. Does it promote a food divide?
Thank you, Rajdeep. Great conversation. And it's amazing how we can turn something very simple, which I see as a consumer demand, into a controversy. Now, let me say this. When I launched my website, sanjeevkapoor.com, in late 90s, in I think first year or second year, we had a switch in our website that you just shift the switch and the whole website would only give you vegetarian content. And that's a choice that we heard and we reacted as per that. We saw a demand where my book had tandoori chicken on cover, and there was something which book was not placed by shops, many shops, that, oh, you have non-vegetarian on cover. And so from then on, even in our Konkan seafood cookbook, we had coconut. Now, this is, I'm not talking 1 year, 2 year, I'm talking 20 years, right? This is something that, how do you react to a demand? How do you address a demand? Is it something that there's a real demand? Now, I think the issue here is that there is clearly a demand. It's not that there's a tomato ketchup, which is without onion and garlic, which has existed in our country. It's there. It's a demand that's there. There is.
So you're saying there's always been a demand that you must make sure that keep pure veg and non-veg completely separate. Am I correct?
So there is a large population which prefers, if they are given a choice, and I think it is looking at that choice, and some people can make it happen, some people may not. So let's look at restaurants. There are many restaurants in same hotel. So I worked in a hotel many years ago where we used to have pure vegetarian restaurant. There was a separate kitchen. And again, I'm talking I was executive in that hotel in 1992. So imagine this is nothing new. It's always been there. But to say that this is something, we are dividing, I think there's a demand that's okay.
There. I take your point. Logic, so I take your point.
So Rajdeep, one more point.
Yes.
Let me say this. Refrigerator is in our country. There's always a tray with the egg that is there. Vegetarians should say, oh, why should I buy a refrigerator which has, I don't eat eggs. Why are you giving me a refrigerator with a tray that to keep eggs? It is something I think if there is market reacts to those demands, and we have to look at it in a holistic way, not convert everything into a controversy.
Okay, fair point. Amish Das Sabarwal, as a brand consultant, has Zomato therefore got it right, or did they get it wrong in the first instance by saying we'll have separate color coding? That's what it caused the problem. Someone will be in green dress means vegetarian, red dress means non-veg. That was the problem. Had they avoided that, nothing wrong in what Sanjeev says. You will have customers who want pure veg.
Yeah. Rajdeep, I think there are 2-3 points. Like when we thinking of a marketing initiative, we think of 3-4 points which makes a good marketing initiative. I'll be logical about it. So the first thing that we started on talking about market intelligence or data, though they claim that, India has the most amount of vegetarians, by pure population, you're right. But if you look at the surveys, that population is only 30% of the people who eat vegetarian, pure vegetarian in India. First things first, right? Just on data when we talk about it, you can look at the Pew survey, you can look at the CNN IBN survey. There are multiple surveys and we can look through them. Second point, the cultural insight. For us to say that food is not politicized, it's not about higher caste, thinking in that ways and connected to it, that would be being completely blind to it. There is politics on food, and we need to understand when you say pure veg, what is pure and impure veg? Who's impure? Who's pure?
Right. So there's a certain Brahminical caste order there.
Absolutely.
Okay. Your third point?
Absolutely. And the third point, saying the consumer inside, where I agree with Sanjeev and I agree with Zomato that, there is a need for that segregation. So points on that, perfect. Idea-wise, fine, needs the logical expectation of doing something like this. But execution not thought through, like we talked about in your little clipping about segregation, about safety of partners who are delivering, about people like me who won't get rent,
right?
Because my landlord can see what I'm ordering. So they're like major problems.
No, I take those practical problems, but Rupali Deen, as a food critic and columnist, do you think that it's much ado about nothing? We, over the years in this country, across this country, have pure veg restaurants. Because, as Sanjeev started off this debate, there is a demand for that. This is the reality of India, and Zomato is reacting to a reality.
So I would say that, in all homes, there are vegetarians and there are non-vegetarians. And we all eat together. Mm-hmm. And I think, like Chef Sanjeev just said, in a refrigerator, you have a separate compartment for eggs as well. And the vegetarian doesn't say that, oh, please change the refrigerator. So I totally agree with this point as well. And I feel that, there was really no need to have a green uniform as such. And in metros today, everybody eats together. If a vegetarian is really picky, he's not going to order from outside. He or she is going to cook at home. Mm-hmm. So,
but the worry is somewhere that there is also a link, Rupali, between caste hierarchies, between religious divides. Do you believe those need to be taken seriously by a company like Zomato, which is all across the country, that tomorrow they may profile the drivers, the delivery boys? I will only take it from a delivery boy who is pure vegetarian himself. Where will it end then?
So, for most people, they wouldn't know how Zomato works for the layman. So just like Uber, the nearest driver comes. Similarly with Zomato, the nearest person who's, available comes and takes your order. Mm-hmm. So I don't even know how Zomato was going to do that, because it could be a Lubna picking up an order, a vegetarian order, and somebody would just, raise a hue and cry about it. Whereas it could be a Pushpa picking up the order and it could be a non-vegetarian order. So I feel that religion should not be in it, because I think Zomato once also said that food is beyond
no
religion.
Absolutely. That's right. Zomato did say that.
Yeah, exactly.
But Sanjeev, as we conclude this, do you believe that we need to also, as Indians, while we have our strict dietary preferences, we need to learn to accept and appreciate each other? I may be sitting in a train and I may be having tandoori chicken, but the person on the other side may be a pure veg, does not like the smell. How do Indians find ways in which they can respect each other's spaces when it comes to food? And
absolutely. I completely am in favor of inclusivity in every which way. It's not only in food, in all walks of life. I'm all for that. I'm not saying that we should do it. At the same time, inclusivity does not mean that being insensitive, does not mean disrespectful. There are things that I am brought up with. So my daughter does not like when I eat and my fork, when it touches the plate, it makes some noise. But we are all eating together. But she gets very disturbed. Should I stop eating? How do I do? My wife eats with her hand, but I have not been brought up like that. But we all sit together and we respect each other. So we have to be inclusive. At the same time, we have to be respectful. That has to go hand in hand. And there is no food policing should be there. No religion can come into food. Be respectful. In food, one thing we have to remember, transparency. Whenever there is delivery, whenever it's manufacturing, whenever there is distribution, transparency gives, and that's why we have coded from which farm it is coming to everything. That transparency will help. And in certain things, certain execution, they go haywire. Maybe in this case, that's what happened.
Okay, so customer confidence above all else. Ensure customer confidence. Customer feels confident that the food that he's getting is as per his dietary or her dietary preferences. But let's not push it too far. Let's not divide this country on food. There are enough divisions in this country as it is. And let's learn to mutually respect each other's dietary preferences. I thank all my guests for joining me here on my second talking point tonight. Let's take a break. When we return, I'll turn to my Good News Today story. You're watching the news today. Back in a moment.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Welcome back. Let's turn to our Good News Today story, or an Only in India story. Ever imagine delivery of cows and buffaloes right at your doorstep? Well, this has been made possible by 4 young people who quit their high-package jobs to make this home delivery cattles a reality. Tonight's Good News Today story is where I end the show tonight. Thanks for watching. Stay well, stay safe. Jai Hind, Namaskar, Shubhratri.
You can buy cars, home appliances, groceries, books and services online and get them delivered at home. Here is an app that lets you buy cows and buffaloes online, just by a click of the mouse without going to a cattle market. Mera Pashu 360 is a startup in Delhi founded by Niket Agarwal, an IIT Madras graduate who left his job in Boston to chase his entrepreneurial dreams. He was joined by Kanupriya, Prachi and Rupesh, who also quit their lucrative jobs.
2021 में मैं और मेरे 2 साथी IIT मद्रास के ही 2005 बैच के हम लोग साथ में मिले और कुछ अपॉर्चुनिटी ऐसी क्रिएट हुई कि हम कुछ डेयरी फार्मर, डेयरी किसान के यहाँ जाना हुआ और फिर जब उनकी दिक्कतों का पता लगा तो मुझे लगा कि ये हम जैसे यंग लोगों पे ही इसका भार है, तो ये बीड़ा उठाया है हमने.
Niket explains his team does a complete checkup of the animal covering more than 75 parameters before deciding its price.
75 पैरामीटर्स पे हम चेक करते हैं पशु, तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली जो एल्गोरिदम है हमारे ऐप का, वो बेस्ड ऑन वो जो डेटा साइंस मॉडल है उससे एक प्राइसिंग अपने आप फेच करता है. उसी स्टैंडर्ड से हम खरीदते भी हैं और उसी स्टैंडर्ड से हम बेचते भी हैं.
The company also prepares and sells cattle feed.
डेयरी में इंडिया में एक बहुत बड़ी मेजॉरिटी वर्कफोर्स जो है वो विमेन की रहती है. ऑलमोस्ट 70% विमेन ही कैटल रियरिंग करती हैं. तो वो कॉल सेंटर पे फ़ोन कर सकती हैं, जहाँ पे वो कॉल करके ऑर्डर दे सकती हैं या फिर सीख सकती हैं.
This is Mera Pashu 360's corporate office, from where the call center operates.
ठीक है तो फिर मैं ये कल पहुंचा दूंगी यार आने तो पहले ना एक बार ड्राइवर आपका दोरा ना फ़ोन करेंगे आप एक बार ड्राइवर तक बात कर लियो उनका लोकेशन भेज दियो और उनका बता दियो कड़े से आना फिर उड़े पहुंचेगा।
हमारी यहाँ पे ये टीम है जो उनकी ही लैंग्वेज में उनके स्तर पे जाके उनसे बात करती है, उन्हें आराम से समझाती है कि कैसे वो घर बैठे ऑर्डर कर सकते हैं।
Promoters of Mera Pashu 360 claim they have served more than 30,000 customers and delivered more than 1,000 cattle and 3 lakh cattle food bags. With Manish, Bureau Report, India Today.
Manifesto, most of this looks like to be implemented across India.
Of course, this is a parliament election and we are a part of Indian Alliance. And so anything that DMK focuses, we don't always center only the state. We give importance to state's issue and the people and the language and everything. But at the same time, when it is parliament elections, our focus has to be across India.
DMK created the mandate for India Bloc Alliance through this manifesto.
We are a part of India Bloc, India Alliance, and so we have represented our views, and it is, of course, anybody will accept it. It is concerned about the whole of India, as well as we have given priority to Tamil Nadu state's issues.
Who's going to win the battle?
BJP and the Congress. Do or die battle.
Elections, the heartbeat of the world's largest democracy. Covered by the political journalist with nearly 4 decades of experience. The man who understands the pulse of the nation. Join India's ultimate newsman.
I will decode the complex political chess game that's at the heart of Indian democracy.
Elections Unlocked with Rajdeep Sardesai. Maximum analysis on the Maximum channel.